Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gridiron Recap. I'm your host with the most, Jersey Joe Archino, joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Armand Medeo. We were here last week. We did all of our NFL Week 1 picks. We're here back again with the Week 2 picks. Now, Armand, I won 12-4. I like the tone that's set for the season. How'd you do in Week 1?
Same thing, 12-4.
Well, all right. Well, I guess great minds think alike. So let's get right into it and not waste any time. We're going to start off with the 1 o'clock games. Obviously, the Giants and the Falcons. The Giants home opener. I'll be there covering that one. But Armand, who do you like here?
I like Atlanta. I think Atlanta's got more pieces, to move the ball down the field. It's just Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Eli Manning once all said and done.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
I think it is. I mean, Eli Manning's got a championship, but I just think Matt Ryan's got more intangibles.
I don't know. I think maybe as of late a little bit more to Matt Ryan, but I don't know. I don't think it's that close. I think the battle is very, very thin between the two of them. I'm going with the Giants here. I think there's a lot of positives you could take away from the first game, despite what happened in that bad timing and bad decision making. I think they clean a lot of it up. The one thing I am worried about is Julio. Julio went off. Julio Jones, of course, the star receiver for the Falcons, went off in that first game against the Eagles. They're going to have trouble containing him, but it will be a very good battle to watch.
Joe, all I got to say about this, Joe, is whoever's got the ball last, whichever quarterback it is going to win the game.
You know what? In Matty Ice, there's a reason that's his nickname. He's always fun to watch, but so is Eli. Eli's got quite the record. You're going two quarterbacks when the ball is in their hands in the fourth quarter and you need a score. They're both two guys I'd like to depend upon. We will go to the next one, though. We have the Detroit Lions going on the road and taking on the Vikings. The Vikings not having a very strong first performance on the road against the 49ers. Armand, they're home. Can they beat the Lions?
I think they will, Joe. I like AP in this one. I think he only had 10 rushes for 30 yards. But in this game, I think he's going to look like the old Adrian Peterson. He's going to have 20 attempts for over 100 yards. And, I think Teddy Bridgewater has a lot to prove, especially going against a division rival like the Detroit Lions. I think he's got a lot of weapons. Mike Wallace, Kyle Rudolph, I think. I didn't like the way, if the Lions, they lost the game, they were up 20-3, 21-3. I mean, that's horrible how you're up 18 and you blow the game. And Minnesota never had the lead against San Francisco, but if Detroit's going to blow 18-point games, I'm going with Minnesota.
And you see, that's precisely why I'm going with the Lions here, is because they were down 21-3, and there's anything we learned under the Jim Caldwell era last season, it's that his team knows how to respond to adversity. Whenever they kind of had that one game where they dropped and disappointed, they usually followed up with a very strong performance. So I think Minnesota is going to have a much stronger game as well, but I think based on what we've seen from Caldwell and the mentality that he's installed there, I think the Lions come out with a very strong one and they get the win. We move on to the Chargers going on the road against the Bengals, the team that was down 21-3 and made the comeback. So, Armand, are they going to need a comeback to win on the road against the Bengals?
I think they will, because I think the Bengals will be winning in this one throughout the whole game. But the thing is, Cincinnati, during a regular season besides Seattle, they're the best team at home over the last couple seasons.
Yes, they're very tough to beat at home.
I mean, if they were home in the playoffs, I would like San Diego, but it's not the playoffs, it's the regular season, so I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati here, too. I think the Chargers kind of had some things to clean up. You're traveling on the road. Those are always difficult. I'm going to go with Cincinnati as well. We move on to the Texans and the Panthers. Armand, Ryan Mallett is the new starter there. Brian Hoyer is out. Does that make the Texans have any better of a shot to win?
Listen, Ryan Mallett's going to be the franchise of this Houston Texan team. I loved Ryan Mallett coming out of college. All those years he backed up Tom Brady. I think Ryan Mallett's a great quarterback. I really do. I think he has the intangibles to be a good quarterback. So I like Houston here. I really do.
On the road.
On the road in Carolina. Carolina looked pretty bad against Jacksonville. Only won by 11 points.
They did. And I'm going to go with Carolina here only because I think this is a coin toss, and in that case, just go with the home team. But I agree with you. I mean, Carolina has definitely a lack of playmakers on offense, and that's going to hurt them in the long run.
I want to hear your thoughts about Ryan Mallett. Do you like Ryan Mallett?
I don't know if there's a big enough sampling size. I do think he has a lot of problems. I would have started him 100% over Hoyer any day. But he's got a lot of things to like about him. He throws a good ball. I think we need a little bit more of a sampling size. But
I think he needs to be seen playing more on the NFL level.
For sure. And look, there's no better way to do it than this Sunday. It's a winnable game for sure on the road after you pick up a first loss.
Can I just say one more thing?
Of course.
I think DeAndre Hopkins is a good fantasy pick-em this week. I think he's a good. I think Ryan Mallett loves to throw the deep ball. He's got a great arm, and DeAndre Hopkins had great stats last week with Brian Hoyer as a quarterback.
Look at that. You also get fantasy tips on this show. We just do it all here. Let's go on, though, so we don't spend too much. All right, let's go to the 49ers and the Steelers. Carlos Hyde, obviously one of the man of week 1 with how good of a performance he had.
That must have broke your heart because you don't like Carlos Hyde.
Well, I lost in fantasy because of him. So.
I know, but you just generally don't dislike Carlos Hyde.
No, I actually like Carlos Hyde.
Really? I thought you were never big on him.
I thought it was a shocker to me that I thought it was a steal, the steal of the draft that the 49ers got him when they did. I forget where it was. He should have never fallen to them in the draft. That was when they had the Super Bowl runs and things with Harbaugh. I mean, the depth that they already had and the fact that he fell to them was incredible. But go ahead. Who do you think wins?
It's in Heinz Field, right?
Yes. Steelers are home.
Pittsburgh, they have Martavis Bryant out. They have Le'Veon Bell out. Their defense is in disarray, but San Francisco, on the other hand, is just the same. I like Pittsburgh at home. I really do. I don't think San Francisco is going to be able to stop Antonio Brown.
I do too. I think San Fran, the good sign for them is when the running game is good, Colin Kaepernick is at his best, which is a good sign for them. But, it's going to be difficult to get those consistent runs going on the road against that pretty stout Pittsburgh defensive line. I do think Pittsburgh finds a way to win here. We move on, though, to the next game on the schedule. We go to the Buccaneers and the Saints. Armand, Jameis Winston, to say it wasn't pretty in his first week would be an understatement. Can it be a little bit better against the Saints?
Joe, I think it's going to be a lot better. New Orleans Saints defense is not one of the better ones in the league, and I think Jameis could honestly throw for about 250 yards at least. They're not going to win the game. I think Drew Brees at home is just going to throw for 400 yards against this Tampa Bay defense, but Jameis Winston's going to show a lot more improvement, and I think he'll throw for about 3 touchdowns this game.
Well, that's what I think. I'm going with the Saints here. I think if he does get all those yards, it'll be garbage time. But
I'm just going to say, if I was anyone with fantasy, pick anyone on the New Orleans. Brandon Cooks must start this week.
Oh, 100%.
Mark Ingram.
All those Saints playmakers.
Guys.
They're going to have big days. Well, let's go. This is one of the tough ones, I think. Cardinals on the road against the Bears. Who do you have?
Honestly, I really like Arizona this year. I think Arizona's going to win the division.
Wow. It's one of those things where everybody always thinks, like, oh, well, they have Carson Palmer, but they just still win.
Carson Palmer is good. He's just the guy. He's so old. He can't find a way off the field. He's always injured in the hospital.
I think Bruce Arians is one of those guys where he just gets coach. So much. He gets more out of his players than so many guys do. And his approach to the game and coaching is different. But it clearly wins because, if you could make it to the playoffs with Ryan Lindley starting games, you're doing something that other people aren't doing. I think they're supremely talented. So you have them winning this one on the road?
Yeah, I do. Me
too.
The Bears defense, they did pretty good against Aaron Rodgers last year. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Once Jay Cutler became James Cutler, then
threw that last pick.
That's when the problems happen. That's the story, though. Let's go on to this next one. The Patriots on the road against the Bills. Obviously,
toughest game of the week.
It's historically a very difficult match for Tom Brady going on the road against Buffalo. I'm going the Patriots here only because I look at Brady and I just think he's being fueled by this fire, proving everybody wrong about the whole Deflategate. He's just playing with that extra edge, and you give that guy even more of an edge, he's just going to try to prove you wrong, and I just think he's going to be fueled and obsessed this season. I think it'll be close as it always is, but I think New England gets the win.
Honestly, yeah, I got to go with New England because Buffalo, they showed that they were an elite team week 1, which they are not. They're a very good team, but they're going to show that they're around a 9-7 ball club, and they're going to lose this game. New England's clearly the more elite team here, and they're on the road. Tyrod Taylor had too good of a game. He's going to have mistakes this week.
Well, we go now to who might have been considered the best player of Week 1, and that is Marcus Mariota. Can the Titans show up again and beat the Cleveland Browns on the road?
I think so. I think Marcus Mariota's going to carry in his successful ways against Tampa. Cleveland does have a little bit better of a defense.
They do. I like their defense.
Yeah, they have definitely a better defense, but I think Mariota's going to, he's going to keep up his impressive ways.
I agree with you. I think you saw it all in that game. Ken Whisenhunt has full faith, full control. Is just giving it all to Marcus Mariota. The trust is there. The work has been put in. I think the Titans start 2-0, and we get another strong performance from Marcus. Let's continue to move, though, to the Rams and the Redskins. The Rams on the road. One of the upsets, although I don't know if you want to say it fully because the Rams are a very good football team, but beating the Seahawks at home. Do they start 2-0?
Absolutely. He'll play in Washington, the worst team in the NFL, I think.
I don't think there's much more I need to say. They're
Yeah,
going
that's
on the
it.
road, but they win. Let's go on to the Dolphins on the road against the Jaguars. Another one I don't think requires that much breakdown. I think we're going with the
We're going
Dolphins.
with Miami.
Let's go then. We only have a couple more now. I think these next couple are interesting. Ravens on the road at Raiders, and I know I'm obviously going Ravens, and I'm sure you are too. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
They're starting the season back-to-back West Coast games for an East Coast team. That's not easy.
No.
So I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. But I
This
obviously
could be, I mean, I don't have.
Derek Carr's not
I don't
starting
have-
either, which
yeah.
doesn't help.
Oh, he's not starting?
I don't think so.
I thought he was going to start. They said he was cleared for.
Oh,
he was
okay,
in
then he
practice this
probably
week.
is. He probably is.
Honestly, if Derek Carr, if the injury reports are correct and he is starting, I think the Raiders could pull off a victory, but I don't have the.
No,
I'm not brave enough to take them.
I'm the same way. I don't have the guts to do it, but you just think about it. You're an East Coast team. Your first two games before you're really even fully in rhythm are going to the West Coast. That's just very hard to do.
And the Ravens, they just can't move the ball. I mean, I feel bad for Joe Flacco. Watching that game against Denver, they had a hard time. Justin Forsett needs to be, he needs to have a big game.
He does. Well, this might be the game. Well, these next two games are just going to be the highlight of the weekend. The Cowboys going on the road to play the Eagles. Both teams showing some vulnerability. Both teams showing some good things in their first matchup. A key matchup to win that NFC East this early in the season. Armand, who are you going with?
I want to hear your thoughts first.
It's interesting because I am going with the Cowboys. I think based on the first half we saw from the Eagles, you're a little worried. Based on the second half we saw from the Eagles, you think this team's got a lot of good things going for them. I'm always a big fan of Chip Kelly. I think his team's going to get there in rhythm. It takes a little bit more time because you have a lot of new pieces there with crucial roles who have to fill those roles and execute them the right way. But Dallas is very good away. The only thing that I'm kind of second-guessing myself about is no Dez Bryant, and you take away Dez Bryant, and the running game there is a little spotty. You're missing a lot of production. I don't know if they have enough guys who can make up for that production.
I agree with you on all those things you said. I respect Chip Kelly as a coach. I think he's one of the best, youngest coaches in the league. But Dallas is just a better coach team. They have better play calls. I like Dallas. They have more veterans. I mean, the loss of Dez Bryant's going to be huge for
Yes.
big plays, especially in the red
Absolutely.
zone. But Philadelphia, watching that game, they just couldn't establish a run game. DeMarco Murray did not look like the 1,800 rusher that he was last year. And, Sam Bradford threw the ball 54 times, I think. It was something crazy.
Something high like that.
And it just wasn't a well-coached game for them. They should have won that game. So I'm going to go with Dallas.
Well, we go on to the Sunday night game, the Seahawks on the road against the Packers. Now, I know it's hard to believe that the Seahawks could start the season 0-2, but that's what I think is going to happen. I think they do start the season 0-2. If you watch that first game against the Rams, I think there are so many plays you could pick out and say, well, if Cam Chancellor was there, this would have happened. If Cam Chancellor was there, this would have happened. But Cam Chancellor is not there, and I think that's a big reason why they'll start 0-2.
Absolutely, Joe. Why are you stealing all my stuff?
I know, I'm sorry. He is a very big
I love Cam
preacher of
Chancellor.
Cam Chancellor. But yeah, it's going to be a great football game. But Packers, James Jones, I think they get it done. The final game on Monday night, Colts and Jets. Colts, one of those teams with the disappointing loss in the week one, opening it up against the road on the Bills. Do the Jets pull off the upset on the road?
This is the upset of the week, Joe.
You
They're
like
a
Jets?
7-point underdog, and the Jets are going to win this game.
Wow.
The Jets were able to move the ball very well. Their defense is top
They
5
distribute
in
the
the
ball
league.
very well, too.
They did. And every facet, this team looks like a playoff team week one. And, I just like the Jets on the road again. The Colts, the loss of T.Y. Hilton, Joe, is huge.
That's a big loss.
He is huge. I don't think he's top 10 in the league. I think he's better because of Andrew
Luck
Luck's productivity.
makes him so
Yes.
much better than he actually
But
is.
he's gonna be needed in it because he has too many old guys. Andre Johnson, Frank Gore,
Gore.
they're all on the way out. Let's be honest, Joe.
See, I'm not high in the Colts
their
because
defense
of
is
the
horrible.
roster. I completely agree.
Except Vontae. Respect Vontae.
I do.
Corner.
He's the only one who can hold his own. But I can't go against the Colts at home only because of Andrew Luck. But anything that happens, it's not a surprise. Like you said, this roster is not good. I've been saying it for years. This roster is not good. It's the LeBron James syndrome. He fooled the Cavs during that run where everybody thought they were good, but he was really the only one carrying that team.
I'll be honest with you. I think LeBron had a better team than Andrew Luck.
Look, it's football. You need more pieces.
You
I
do.
mean,
It's a team
more
sport.
difficult. So I'm going with Colts despite all of that
Poor
dysfunction I
Andrew.
just talked about.
Poor
I
Andrew.
feel bad for him. We send our thoughts out to you, Andrew Luck, if you're listening to the
Salute.
show. We both salute you, both of us at the same time. I can't think of a better way to end off the show than a salute to Andrew Luck and to all the players who will be playing this weekend. But we will be back next time breaking it all down. We will see how we did 12-4 for the both of us in week 1. The results for week 2 will come, but we'll be back next time.